Good day, plebs. It is I, your Lord and Master, Dr. Sinister. 2012 has been an absolute triumph for Sinister Incorporated and for me personally. My list of achievements this year are far too numerous to go through in minute detail. Suffice it to say that there was some celebration when the local news organisations here on Sinister Island correctly reported that we had won 236 gold medals at the London Olympics, with 34 of those won by yours truly in an astonishing feat of endurance and willpower. Anyone who tells you otherwise is a lying liar. I can only hope that my bid to host the 2024 Games will be successful. Certainly the orbiting laser satellites should serve as a useful reminder of my determination in this regard. I know where you live, people. Then, of course, there was a successful landing of the Curiosity probe on Mars, a machine built solely by S.INC engineers for the purpose of scouting out potential colonisation and mining sites for Sinister Incorporated pathfinders. I have to say, we will kill those Martian bastards if it's the last thing I do. Sad news with this year's brief skirmish in Israel, which was a minor hiccup on the way to a global government. Now, I just want to stress here that my only part in this whole ordeal was in supplying arms to both sides. I really wasn't expecting them to be used, although I am actually quite pleased to see that the S.INC Iron Dome missile defence system works even better than I had hoped. Come and buy it, everybody. It works, it's demonstrably working. And of course, the continuing loss of life in Syria is to be deplored. Yes, I'm afraid another dictator seems to be about to go the way of Saddam and Gaddafi. On the plus side, the power vacuum may ultimately assist my own rise to power across the world as a whole, so I suppose there could be a silver lining to all the bloodshed. A number of jobs came up this year, all of which, of course, I applied for. Alas, I was turned down as leader of Communist China and equally denied the opportunity to become Archbishop of Canterbury. I was criticised, respectively, for A, not being a communist, and being an atheist. I mean, come on, guys. But despite my arguments that these organisations needed someone like me, an outsider, to come in and sort out all their problems, I was actually threatened with violence on the part of one of these organisations if I didn't go away. Who knew that bishops were routinely armed? I certainly didn't. In addition, as you may recall, the job of Director General of the BBC came up, not once, but twice. Unfortunately, despite engineering the downfall of Mr. Entwistle, who picked me at the post the first time, I failed a second time to get the job because of a minor technicality. A minor technicality. Okay, so the technicality they quoted at me was that I apparently own 17 newspaper titles across the globe. Okay, this is true. And I am already the managing director of the Sinister Broadcasting Company and several other news outlets as well around the planet. Well, to say I'm not happy is an understatement. And on this basis, I have turned my attention back to my old friend, Silvio Berlusconi, in an effort to get him re-elected as Prime Minister of Italy. I'm hoping that with him in charge, we can really run the country right into the dirt and ultimately seize power ourselves. I am pleased to see, of course, that my friends in North Korea have finally managed to achieve a successful rocket launch. Seriously, guys, it took you long enough. I've had a base on the far side of the moon for 10 years. If you want to continue to remain part of the axis of evil, you really have to try harder. That said, I am pleased to report that the first consignment of warheads has left the island and is destined for your shores in accordance with our bargain. Finally, the nights here on Sinister Island can be cold, especially with the localised induced nuclear winter that we are suffering at the moment after 20 years of atomic testing. What's more, the loneliness of command can be a heavy burden for someone such as myself. To that end, and to relieve the monotony of signing all those execution warrants and threats to the UN, whilst I await my ascension to absolute power, I'm pleased to say that I've recently joined the cast of a Doctor Who themed podcast, The Flashing Blade. Followers are urged, nay ordered, to check it out on iTunes. In the meantime, I'd like to wish you all a happy Sinistermas